When I lived in Milwaukee, I saw my share of eccentrics. There was the pepperoni cannoli guy who would come into bars and yell, "Pepperoni cannoli," and would sell homemade pepperoni and cannoli out of his cooler.
Yummy.
And there's Pastor Ron, a guy who drives all over the city in his famous Jesus car. It seems like eccentrics these days are growing even more eccentric, making the eccentrics of the past seem oddly sane. Chicago has its own share of oddballs, in a city that's already a bit off. So off that it sometimes makes the crazies look like the sanest people in the room. Crazy Mary is the well-known nickname for a, let's say, colorful figure in Chicago's urban folklore. But based on numerous accounts from locals, she's described as a tiny, elderly homeless woman, famous for her profane outbursts.
And you're a three-headed devil dog! Devil dog!
Mary has been described to me as a frail, elderly woman who sits on sidewalks or against buildings, begging with a cup of money. She's known for suddenly jumping up and yelling at people passing by in a raspy voice, hurling insults like, "Fucking whore!" I've been told that these outbursts are not at an individual, but more like a general rant. And, I quote, "She doesn't usually cause physical trouble," which I interpreted as she only occasionally causes physical trouble. She has been described as unstable.
Do you think so?
But harmless, at least usually harmless, which I interpret as sometimes harmful. References to Crazy Mary date back to at least the 1970s. By the 2000s and 2010s, she was a recognized fixture, with fans even forming a Facebook group to share stories. Crazy Mary has become an iconic part of Chicago's character, representing its gritty, unpredictable side. Some considered a Crazy Mary encounter as initiation rites for newcomers to the loop, kind of like a Chicago handshake. In the early 2000s, a guy from out of town was visiting friends, and they see Crazy Mary screaming at a woman exiting a Walgreens, which is now a regular occurrence outside of every Walgreens in Chicago. The locals laugh and explain to the visitor that Crazy Mary is a beloved local eccentric. Another tale from the 1980s has her on Taylor Street, roaming ominously like an evening wanderer, which has inspired childhood fears worse than those of the boogeyman. In the mid-2000s, a rumor developed that Crazy Mary was hit by a car and did not survive. But that's just a rumor.
Oh, shit.
But she hasn't been seen in a while, but her memory lives on as a legendary profane homeless woman. Maybe she was the sanest person in the room.